Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Paint It Live. Time for another live feed. It's been a while since, actually, has it been a week? I think it's been a little bit more than a week since I did a recorded live stream. We've been doing some hangouts on Google Plus locally. So, but those aren't being recorded. So I guess that's what we're doing. Looks like my feed is okay. I'm gonna mute that, leave the comments up. So tonight, some kits that I got from Night Models, Batman miniature game. I know we are still on that kick, folks. We are still riding the hype train through Batmanville, and I got some cool kit. So we're gonna build the kit, or try to. We'll fumble through it, and I don't know. Let's just see how it goes. I'm probably gonna need my my hobby knife. Where'd it go? I need my hobby knife, and I'll probably need a file or something. Make sure I got a file around here. There we go. So we're going to build this. These are actually the safes. These are objectives in the game, which is really cool. Safe boxes, which should be awesome. So let's go ahead and let's build one together. Actually do this without screwing it up. A couple of, I'm just going to help it out. Now, I'm no stranger to MDF kits. I've built my share of things, everything from Andaya laser cutting to Tri-City laser cutting to Knights of Dice, which is my personal favorite. If you're going to do MDF, Knights of Dice really has the really fancy stuff that you should check out. So I've built a few of these before. There's also another one of my favorites, TCS Tectonic Craft Studios. These are things that I would mention in addition to my homeboy Gabe over at Andaya Laser Cutting. Although Gabe has basically retired from making stuff, so I don't feel bad plugging some of my other favorites like Viv's stuff and our friends over at TCS that do really nice work. So anyways, let's pop this loose. I'm just gonna make sure that all the sides, you can just pop them out with your finger if you don't have a blade, but then you get these little chads that you'll want to file down because you want the pieces to fit together nicely. So a little bit different tonight. We're not going to be building, we're not going to be working on miniatures, but we'll be building this. I'm going to throw this feed out. Who else would like to watch? Just see. You know, if people tune in, feel free to let me know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Let's see. Yeah. And okay, we're cool. I'm going to put it there. Okay. Okay. And if you'd like to hop on the feed, hey, what's up, Gata? Welcome to the feed. If you want to hop on the feed, let me know. Actually, you can't. You can't because, oh no, you can. I'm using Hangouts. So you can totally hop on the feed if you want to. Shoot the shit with me live. Otherwise, the rest of you know the deal. We're just going to sit here, ramble about random stuff, and try to get some work done. All right. Been a very productive weekend for me. I painted another Court of Owls set. This is I wanted to update my set as I wanted to get the new, the second Court of Owls starter box, and I wanted them to match in terms of their color and their basing. So my thinking was, well, let's just sell the set that you already had, start a new, like build another set, and that way, you know, the one that came out, the one that they showed this week on the night page, when that comes out, I'll be ready. I'll be totally caught up, basing scheme, and we should be good to go. This is going to be scary. There we go. So very finicky part there. This looks like this is just a dial for the front of it. What is this little shoe? What is that? Let's find out. So we're going to punch all these loose. So we're going to build a few different kits. Should be putting the finishing touches on Zenaida and Spite, but I've been too many hours at the store. Oh, that's cool. You're talking like the original Zenaida Spite kit at Relic Knights? Awesome. Okay. Ryan Parker, what's up, man? Too many projects started. I don't know what to work on. I have the same problem. Just so you know, like it's you're not alone. Like here's Wild in the Streets miniature, haven't worked on. This is the really sad one. X-Men miniatures. You can see Cyclops there, still desperately waiting on the rest of his base coat. And you got Wolvie here. He's like looking like a third grade now. Meanwhile, Rogue and Colossus are done, but I can't motivate myself to finishing that. And then I also have animated series Harley Quinn. But my thinking with Harley Quinn is I'm going to paint her and paint Margot Robbie Harley Quinn and paint Origins Harley Quinn all at the same time, because they're going to be using the same red. And I don't know, that just makes sense to me for some reason, so we're just going to do that. All right, so let's punch this whole thing loose. I'm going to get the second set. Well, let's build one, including a full Corsairs battle box, minis, Mobius, plastic planes, and cars. I don't know what to tell you, man. All I gotta say is good luck. Just work through it all. Okay, so most of the time I like to use wood glue for this. Wood glue actually works a lot better than PVA glue, but we're gonna use PVA glue because I cannot find my wood glue. My theory is I used it all when I built the Knight model stuff, like Knights of Dice stuff. I built a bunch of really cool buildings for them. This is a little bit of a compromise here, but we'll figure it out. Okay. That goes like that. That goes like that. So looks like this sort of, okay. We'll build these. I have Blood Angels. I started in the mid-90s. Wow. You know, I bet if I looked hard enough, I could probably find unfinished projects from the mid-90s. Okay. Question is, I always get paranoid when I start doing this because it's like, am I facing the right way? I guess the real way to find out would be to go ahead and dry fit everything. But hey, that makes way too much sense, right? And I'm a just dive in and do it kind of guy. Not saying that's the best approach, but that's I do that for your entertainment, so that if you see me inevitably screw up, then you get to see how I approach fixing my screw up. See how it's all justified. Okay. So yeah, PVA glue, kind of a compromise here, but we're gonna work through. We're gonna make that happen. Bank of Gotham safe boxes. You could also use super glue. PVA glue, in my experience, works a little bit better for MDF kit. But yeah, just as good to do. Okay, right? So there's three of the walls built. And then we've got to put in the hinges. So the hinges are going to go, oops. The hinges are going to go right there. And it looks like there's a top hinge and a bottom hinge. And the door also has hinges. So the door, you want to glue these hinges on, just like that. So let's glue those on. Okay, PVA tastes much better too. Yes, it does. And I'm a little tired of super glue right now. To give you an idea, for those of you who are familiar with the Batman range, this weekend I built animated series Harley Quinn, which is a single piece model. But if you've built the female animated series models, you know how delicate those ankles are. You see how teeny tiny those ankles are. I'm trying to get a pin through there without killing yourself. I have considered my life at length when I did that. Then you got, where do these go? Okay, so you put I get it. So these glue in after you have a pin here that goes through. So I built her. I built Batgirl, comic Batgirl, who, if you're familiar with that sculpt, that's quite a bit of a nightmare. If you're curious to know how bad that is, watch my video on Batgirl. That was tough. And so I did that, and I also, okay, so this is gonna go like so. And then finally, I built Katana, which has that weird, double-handed, over-the-shoulder sword carry, which is disgustingly difficult. And to make things worse, I was trying to clean the off sword hand, and the off sword hand broke while I was sanding it. So to the wrist of the offhand. So what I ended up doing was I ran 2 pins through a tiny fist, through the tiny, her one back to the wrist of her offhand, and the other was for the other was just to reattach it to the hilt of the sword. That was crazy. I took a picture of it because I was like, wow, this is the most insane pin job I've ever done. I may actually have to trim this piece because you can't. Okay, so it's got to be that wide. As you can see, I'm taking a very precise measurement. This can only end well, right? Look at that. Just fearless, people. Just, I don't care. Okay. So that's going to go like that. to still have to clip a part of it off. Specifically that much off. Okay. I mean, I'm not terribly worried about this because I have like that 1.3 millimeter pinning rod, which would work just as well for something like this. Okay. That worked out okay. So we're gonna now glue the end caps on these. That's these pieces. And then just clean up the extra glue bits. Oh man. Okay. And then we're gonna glue the lid on. Okay. So far, so good. And then importantly, we have to glue the door on. Okay, so I'm going to swivel the door out a little bit to allow me to do that. This guy, for whatever reason, is not fitting the way it's supposed to. There we go. There we go. Much better. Okay. And so it looks like you have a peg that goes through here. This goes there. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue here, right there in that hole. Then I'm going to put this peg through here. All right. And then you just put that on. Uh-oh. And then a little. Are you supposed to? This looks like this would go over it too. And we're going to put a little there. So as you can see, I'm so precise when I do this. Okay. That can't be right. Is that right? Or does it go the other way? I think the thing goes behind it. I don't know. I think the little dial goes behind, doesn't it? I mean, that would make more sense if the dial went behind it. So if I did this, here's another advantage of PVA glue is I'm not tearing the whole thing apart. The glue would have set already. I'm just consoling myself for screwing up immediately. Wow. There we go. Okay. And then the final thing is to glue the little handle in. We should be good, right? We can move on to the next one. So we're going to build both at once and let them dry. Okay. There we go. Right? Bad boy dry. Right? I know, there's a little bit of glue in there. It's fine. I mean, if it's really bothering me, I can just grab a little paper clip and clear it out a little. I need something thinner. I'll use my super, super thin pin. Pull it out. Here. Right? Okay. So there's one. Let's pull the other one. And then we'll move on to, I'll show you the other accessory that I bought. Because I've gone full fanboy over Batman, which if you guys have watched this show past, we'll call it a year and a half, I'm always bitching about Batman, the game, because I had some real problems with the game. Our first endeavor through the game, and a lot of times, specifically for this channel, you would have heard me bitching about how they do the casting and how outdated it seems and how outdated the game feels and all this other stuff. Well, I'm here to tell you, still harbor those thoughts about the game. The difference now, though, is that they've made some improvements in areas that I found to be originally killers or game killers for me. Notably accessibility of rules and translation. And of course, there were some improvements. They've shown some improvements in the casting of the models. I'm gonna buy all my leftover crap from that game. What do you have? I might be interested in buying stuff for that. Okay. See, now I have the problem though. I've got to clean up all the little chads. Yeah, let me know what you have. I'd probably be interested in buying some of it. I don't know. Okay. But so let me tell you, I think I told you guys what happened. I bought the Ozymandias Mini, painted it, Peace Night Models Mini, and I was like, you know what? These are good sculpts. I had fun painting that Mini. Maybe I need to give this another honest go. And I was looking through stuff, and one of the pieces I always wanted was that Bombshell Harley Quinn Mini. And I found one because, on Mini Market, because they were doing hey, you can buy the two-player starter set, the Suicide Squad kit. And, then you can have your Harley Quinn Mini. So I was pretty stoked about that. So I did that. And then the Suicide Squad, the idea was I was going to buy the Suicide Squad kit and then paint it, sell it, and then keep the Bombshell Harley and just have a really cool Mini that I like. As it would turn out, I reread the rules and I watched some battle reports on YouTube. Yeah, I said, okay, this is, the more I watch this game being played by people who know how to play the game, the more interesting it becomes. And then then I found out things like there were actual team rules, which was new from the last time we had played. Like we played before the Green Arrow Flash expansion. So the idea was, we're I would play Birds of Prey, or we'll play Gotham City Sirens, Suicide Squad, Teen Titans, right? But there weren't legal rules for using those yet. And so when we came back, suddenly they have teams, specific strategies for those teams, and they had obviously built out the world a little bit more to include stuff that I really wanted to run. Catman. I can talk about Catman a lot. I'm a big Catman fan. It's super funny to me. So you had Catman. You have all kinds of stuff. It's posted in the BMG mini bias. Okay. Yeah, I will totally look at it, man. Because if you have of key interest to me, would be a Bane crew and a Mad Hatter crew. Those are because I specifically want to build Secret Six, and I need those. Parademon are fairly new. I doubt you're selling something like that. But yeah, that's where we're at. But yeah, man, and so got back into the game, and suddenly, this game is just crazy hype. It's a lot of fun. I ended up playing it with people that I always had fun with playing other games, but we'd never really gotten together on a system. What I mean by that is we had, there are guys that I thought were cool in the shop, but they played other games, like they played Infinity and Star Wars and that kind of stuff, and couldn't get on board with those games. And I just told Bane, man, oh well, at it anyway, because I like to look at that stuff anyway. But yeah, so almost lost that little square. That would have sucked. So we got back into it. I kept my Court of Owls from the last time. And then last year, at the end of the year, I was like, because my friend Mark, miniature gaming opponent in all systems, like we play 6 of all the same systems. He was still, he had never really quit Batman, and I had already bitched and moaned to him about what I didn't like about Batman. So, but he was saying, I'm staying in. I want to play every once in a while, and I was like, okay, I better, if I'm gonna play Batman, then I want to play miniatures I like. And for example, I really, really like the comic Talia al Ghul mini. So I was like, okay. And I really love Catman. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to, sure, I get to play those two. So I built at the end of last year, I built that League of Shadows crew, a Shiva crew, that would include Talia and Nissa. And I was going to run Catman as a free agent for that crew. So I built that at the end of the year and played it until just recently. When after, like I said, painted Ozymandias and said, okay, I'm back. Let's try it. Let's give the game another honest go. And so, yeah. Anyway, I'm back now. Super happy about coming back because, like I said, the pieces are in play now. We got, I think we have the cool player base, actually the clincher. You know what I mean? You got to have cool people to play the game with because it is it's a really quirky system, quirky, fairly complex miniature game system. It's not a lot of miniature gamers, tend to be turned off by games like this because they're kind of cumbersome systems. And so, it takes a lot of bandwidth to play games like this. And I talk about that a lot on this feed. Really like it, right? That's kind of our whole, really like the game if that's the trade-off. Whoa. And my first foray into the game was not all that positive. And the other part of it too was it's such a complex game, you want to learn it in layers. So when we were playing originally, cruise and not give them equipment, and we would play and not give them, not take strategies, because it was so much to just look at the game and go, okay, then you got to do this and this and this. We're just getting tired. We're like, look, at the time we were playing Relic Knights, Guild Ball. We were playing these other. We were playing Frostgrave at this time. Whatever, for Batman, better be able to keep up. Like, ideally, we only want to play Batman for like an hour so that we can get on and play these other systems that we like, right? And Batman's not really like that. You play Batman, it's kind of like a game of like M2E Malifaux. Like, it takes a while. If you're gonna play, if a game is gonna go over 60 minutes, I had better really like that game. And Batman, we weren't playing enough Batman to really embrace it the way you're supposed to and play the full game. So yeah, we weren't, that's another side to this. We weren't exactly giving it the fairest shake. Okay, look at that. So these are done. I'm just going to let them. We're going to let these dry for a minute, and we'll move on to the next kit to build. If you're just joining us, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting tonight. We're working on Batman accessories because I've been painting and playing so much Batman lately, folks. Still super, super hype over it. Okay, so those two things are built. Let's go grab the other kit, which was supposed to be right behind me, and I don't know where it went. Maybe I put it at my feet. That is not it. Oh, crud. No, that's not it on the bed. Shoot. Here it is. Okay, so the other kit we got was I picked up some air ducts. Okay, why did I pick up air ducts? There's a very specific reason why I picked up air ducts, and it's not entirely legal, but I want to do it anyway. And I don't think anyone. Because Batman, again, the people playing Batman in our group are all fairly casual people. I think even with a game like Batman, it's so immersive and so narrative that if you're playing it competitively, you can do that to a point, but it's no Guild Ball. You know what I mean? It's no War Machine. Those are miniature games that are really, really tooled for the high-end competitive play because they have really, really clean rule sets, and it's a lot more. Those games are a lot more precise. they're a lot more managed. In the case of Guild Ball, they're a lot more actively managed on the balance front. So yes, you do still have imbalances in the games, but they're actively monitored, and their developers are highly involved. All right, how do you build this? How do you build these? There's 2 of these, right? Okay, so you build a little box, and then you build the other box on top of it, and then there's some other crap that you stick on it. Okay, that sounds like a plan. Let's do it. 2 of those, and 2 of these, and 2 of those, 2 of these. Okay. Let's build 1. Whoa. Okay, so here's my idea with these air ducts, right? So I bought them as 2 air ducts because one of the Court of Owls strategies, an additional set, you can take an additional sewer set with them, which is awesome. But the Court of Owls in the fluff, they occupy the 13th floor of various buildings in Gotham. So if they're going to be using their, and the fluff is sort of like, well, this strategy is that they're using their own private network to get through to different parts of Gotham. And so it makes, to me, it makes the most thematic sense if they're instead of sewers, that they're air ducts, right? Because they would be going through, they'd be going through the ducts of the 13th floor and out the rooftops instead of what we get, instead of just standard sewers. Okay, how come we only have 1 set of these? Am I missing it? And how come we only have 1 of these? What am I doing wrong? Well, let's start building it and let's find out. Okay, so looks like you start with these and you build this little box structure around it. And I think they just go like that, right? That's what it looks like. Okay. Actually, just like that, and then these go like this. Okay. So I guess the timing was right that we would start to pick up this game. I wanted to play something more narrative. I wanted to paint miniatures that are the most fun to paint. And, we game at a comic book shop. So it's a natural, and that just started to carry Batman. And I want to, we want to reward them for that, because it's not the easiest thing to be a North American hobby shop carrying Batman. There's not a lot of distributors that are willing to carry the game and put it in a brick and mortar. Most of the time, people playing Batman end up ordering on Miniature Market or something like that because it's just safer for everybody, but our hobby shop is cool in that, they want to promote the games, and they've carried a lot of obscure games for us in the past. Okay. Another thing I like about this kit is these are almost 30 millimeter base size. So they're almost legal. They're not quite legal because they're square base, and but again, I don't think anyone's gonna really flip out. And the other good thing, the Court of Owls specific strategy. So it's nice to have just ducks that are specific, and I would carry these with my crew and say, okay, I'm going to take this strategy, and unless you're Riddler or somebody that can just nullify it, dicks. Then you're going to be able to use this. Peel that off. To make a little chimney box out of that. Miniature market is my hometown. Very dangerous. Riddler was your main crew. Yeah, Riddler's rough. Well, here's the thing. I wanted to build a Riddler crew, and I got my buddy into it. And the store only carried, they didn't carry all the crews. So he was looking at Riddler, or I think, maybe Two-Face? I forget. Riddler or Two-Face, right? And I was like, well, Riddler crew. So that's kind of where I'm at. So he took my advice and built a Riddler crew. Did I do this wrong? No, I didn't. So that goes like that, right? Okay. Such an awesome, and the new Riddler kit is just so beautiful. So yeah, so he played Riddler, and Kel, he just had a blast. After I taught him how to play, so we got him on board. He was playing the only game that we had in common before Batman was I played a little bit of Infinity, and he played Infinity, but Kings, and we still like Wrath of Kings. So we play a little. We'll play Wrath of Kings every once in a while still. But I got him into Batman, playing Batman on the regular, which is awesome. Okay, so that goes like that. Then you kind of have a other system here. It comes with an air duct. Okay, so you get one. So you can alternately it looks like you can alternately put the air duct on. Or you can do this. Let's build it this. Why are there two pieces? What I want to know. Do you 4 on there? Or is it just if you're doing, I guess these are if you're going to put the air duct on, but they're spaced different. Oh no. Yeah, you do it that way, it looks like. No, it's weird. It's a different size. So if you're doing the air duct, I think you put a different, I don't know. All right. See, I don't even know what the hell. So you do this. All right. And then that goes on. All right, let's put it on. So that goes like that. How? Yeah, you put those on and you get a bigger, you do that. Instead though, this. I know none of this is making sense, but okay. So let's just make this a standard one, which has an outlet like that. And then you, well, what I don't get is, how does this actually attach? Because, oh, I see. Attach it here, but it doesn't attach on the bottom unless you clip that out. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to clip this off. I think this is a mistake. I think structurally it would be wiser if I pull that off, clip this off. Oh boy. Oh boy. There, I did it. Let's see if did I make a giant mistake? Let's find out. I just clipped right through that MDF in order to put this on. And then whoa. Okay. All right, now let's try it. So then I should be able to just put that here, put a little glue there, put a little glue here, here, right? And I should be able to just bad boy. Take that. Fold it to fit there. Oh, you have to do it the other way. Start at the bottom. Fold it to fit like that. Oh, and just kind of hold it all in place like that. Let's see how this goes. I'm just going to put a little glue there to kind of help strengthen this bond. Ooh. Yeah, it's a little bit messy. Whoa. Yeah, this is an interesting kit. You can't just, you don't want to just use, I think I'm going to have to super glue some of this. And we're going to break out the big stuff. So we're going to break out the specialty, dude. Just to put a fine point on this. See, there you go. Whoa. Yeah, that was really... So I need this stuff to bond. because I'm bending wood essentially. And put that there. And I want this to stick. It's this flex part here that's, let me see if I can strategically put more super glue down. To help things stay put. Right, so I'm going to hold that and let's see what we get. Okay. I mean, it is a night model. I've never been able to put a night model together without gluing some of my fingers shut. Okay, that looks like that's going to stay, at least for now. Let's see. Let's leave that. I know it looks like trash right now, guys, but it should be okay. All right, let's do the next one. So this, oh, yeah, I don't know how this is going to work, man. This might. So you have the option of making the narrow one, or you can make the wide one that has the extra fan in it and all that fancy stuff. I don't really need the extra fan, but I guess you may want a way to differentiate one from the other. I just doubt it. I just don't think that's going to be all that necessary. Let's just see. So Dan, you quit Batman. You're just selling off extra stuff. This looks fancy enough to try. All right. You gave it up? Curious to know why you quit. I can tell you why I quit. I quit because putting the kit together was just driving me insane. And we were operating around a less than ideal set of rules. And then there was, at the time that we were playing, there were some good sculpts, but they weren't that great. Sculpts have gotten, so much better these days. All right, here we go. Man, let's hope that Super T holds. I'm going to clip this off right now. Why didn't they just make the piece that way if that's how it's supposed to anchor? Just cut it that way. Make it. Why does it have to be whatever? Then we're going to prime all this stuff. Maybe get, a good deal of it painted before we sign off. Much actual painting to be done here. It's just furniture stuff. Honestly, it has to do with a certain store, owner, night model, distributor. Okay. So more of a personal reason than a technical reason. Gotcha. Oh, it was bad. Seems I get a little overzealous here in my desire to put things together quickly. But yeah, right now we're riding that Batman hype train, and it's in with the right people. It's super fun. We'll see what happens as the group grows. You know, that's always a fear that you're going to get people that don't like gaming with each other, and that's actually not a fear. I mean, that's just a reality, right? You're just going to end up with people like that. Okay. I love the game. You just can't buy that stuff locally without giving money to him. I hear you. Well, there's always a miniature market. I was actually trying to get in a game tonight, which is unusual. I mean, I try to keep my gaming to 1 day a week, but you know, we're still riding the hype. And so this weekend, I was like, we're having a good weekend. Let me go ahead and um, see if we can line up a game. And I tried to line up one for today, and this just doesn't fit. I don't know what you're supposed to do here. Like, do here. I guess this becomes your. Oh, I see. That's dumb. No one needs a. You don't need a bigger one then. I'm just going to do them the same way then. Free local pickup. Costs too much. I'm in Canada. The US dollar is way too strong. Oh, mini market. Got it. Damn those Americans and their dollars. That's a shame, man. That's a bummer. Because like I said, we're having fun with the game. We haven't gotten, the other thing is when things start, when you just start any game system, things like, so rosy and perfect, and you're like, nobody, right? This game is great. Nobody's going to have problems with it. And then you end up, you find some stuff in the game that you inevitably, and it's been my experience, that inevitably you find stuff in the game that you don't think is so great. Then, and then that's where the real test happens, right? When I would say your first negative play experience, is it because of the person you're playing against? Is it because of something that they fielded, or is it both? And then at that point, people start making assessments. Do I want to continue? I've just had I've had a negative play experience with this game. And we had that with Guild Ball and everything else that we got hype over back in the day. So, so we'll see how it goes. The one thing that's like good about my specific situation is regular miniature gaming buddy doesn't care if the game gets picked up or not locally. He loves much that when I quit, he just refused to quit. He just, he's like, nope, I'm still buying stuff. He was like, I'll wait for you to get back into the game. I was like, okay, well, good luck, I guess. But no, he was right. His gamble paid off, in other words. All right. Here's the hard part, the little bendy. It reminds me of those old-fashioned bureau desks. The little accordion style shutter to it. Woo! Yeah, that worked out a lot better super gluing that part. And then I can just use regular glue on this part. Regular PVA glue. Great. And then I'll have a couple of air ducts built, a couple of vaults built. He got me to buy in and paint the red hood. Hey, what's up, Jose? Yeah, that's actually because Jose typically just borrows shit from me when he wants to play. So, looking for a game demo on Tuesday. Great. I can't do Tuesday. That's my date night. So if you guys in the chat are watching my feed right now, I cannot do Tuesday. Just wants to run that guy through a game demo, you're more than welcome to. Let's do this. Should I say Cobra Commander? Let's give these a second to dry, but here's what we're working on. So 2 air ducts. Again, I'm going to use these as specifically Cordoval's that I'm going to place specifically on top of buildings because that's much more thematic. And I got a couple of safes here. So we got enough time. Let's break out the airbrush and do some airbrushing. I'm going to chomp on this build biscuit. Yeah, Jose did Red Hood as Cobra Commander. His plan is to build a G.I. Joe themed Batman crew, which should be hilarious and awesome. Uh-oh. I'm like out of rubber gloves, so this can get messy. Check out Can Hammer. Yeah, I watch Can Hammer. I've been watching Can Hammer guys and TNG Productions and obviously when Gorilla Miniatures does it, I'll watch Ash. So I've been watching a bunch of stuff on YouTube. Cause Bad Guys really kind of helped get me back into the game. I just like it's not. I don't think their videos are quite as good as Gorilla Miniatures or anything else, but the guy's passion for the game is what kind of him and his, when he talks about specific models, he'll do like tacticas, but he calls them tacticals, which is kind of cool. I also like that stuff like that. I want to do Batman battle reports on this channel, like stream games from my house on this channel. But let's see. Oh, you run a few of them? Cool. Oh, looks like they resolved the demo issue in the chat. Looks like they're going to be waiting until Thursday to get the game demo. I mean, it doesn't have to be me to do it. You can get another person to do it. But if you want me to do it, I can do it. Right? All right. Let's get to the priming. Boop, boop, boop. I'm not that worried about the hinge. I'll be able to kind of pry it loose when I need to. My main question on the safes are, what color should I make the safes? I mean, safes are typically black, but I don't think we want to have black safes out there. It looks terrible. Should they be green? Uh-oh. There's a clog. Come on. Yeah, I got a clog. You can just power your way through a clog. No, not powering my way through this clog. Oh, that's annoying. I'll take it apart. Old cast iron. That's true. I could paint him metallic. That'd be kind of cool. I was thinking more like a security, like a navy blue, like, almost like a policeman blue. Let's see. All right. No, man, I really actually have to take this apart and clean it. I hate that. Quite annoying. I hate it when I have to do this. And some white freehand. Yeah, so still watching, right? Because we were supposed to game tonight at one of the local places. Get there, and the staff there, she tells me, like, look, I'm not the manager, but I have to shut down in an hour. And she was playing Scythe, which was cool. So she was playing Scythe, and she's like, why don't you, because I'm like, oh, I know how to play Scythe, and they were learning. So she was like, why don't you go ahead and watch along. And there was a guy there who also knew how to play. It was his copy, and he was showing them how to play. And I was also kind of helping as well. And, the conversation with them, I'm like, look, we want to play Batman. It's a really cool game. She has the Dark Souls game, and she wants to learn how to paint. And I'm like, well, hey, that's kind of what I do. So I invited her to go see this feed, and we'll see, if she's going to end up watching any of this or not. But anyways, that was kind of cool. And so the idea is, hey, maybe we can try to make some arrangements, stay open a little bit later on Sundays so that we can game on Sundays. And then obviously there's the Thursday option. You can play on Thursdays also. So MDF will just absorb all this stuff. MDF soaks up a lot of paint, which is okay. You can actually kind of work with that. Whoa. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting. Tonight we are working on some Batman accessory stuff. And we're just doing a little airbrushing. You can see this MDF really likes to soak up all the paint. So, all right, we can let that dry for a second. We're going to switch over to gray. Ooh, I got more water from my my water bottle here. You know what? I'm not going to be able to unless I have more rinse water. So I'm going to take the headset off here for just a second. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. You can talk about your Tau Riptide that you're building while I refill my water bottle. Okay. So now let's go ahead and move over to the gray primer this time. Well, let's say. No. Where's my gray primer? New. There it is. All right. So now the gray primer, and we're going to do what we always do, which is spray this at an angle so that we can start to play with lighting when the time comes. Nice and quick and dirty. And unfortunately, I'm not painting the interior of the safes. I mean, I guess I should, but I'm not. I don't know. I just don't care enough. I also, this weekend, I also painted a bunch of stuff. Like I said, I painted that, the updated Court of Owl's crew, and I also painted some more Birds of Prey. So I painted the classic Poison Ivy, which I love that mini and was looking for an excuse to paint that. Also painted a Batgirl, the same Batgirl that I did the video on, but I just did another one because I sold that original Batgirl. And I painted a second Suicide Squad katana. That's too much like work. All right. I assume you're talking about me painting the inside of the safe. Yeah, I'm not that interested in doing that. Okay. And let's do the white. And then we can start to figure out what we're actually going to paint these guys. White in the airbrush. We're just going to and I'm just going to aim at corners and edges. Up here. Okay. Okay, there we go. So now let's pick some colors to do these in, and then we'll beat them up a little bit. We'll weather them out. So I think for the safes, I'll just do like a regular standard blue, like Gotham safe. I don't know that there's such thing as a Gotham safe, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. Go like this intermediate blue, and then just kind of put that down. And then I think I'm gonna go like a beige or something, a beige or a gray for the intake stuff. All right, so I'm gonna go real light with this because I don't want to lose too much detail. And the lighter you go, the more the pre-shading is allowed to shine through. So we'll weather it and then we'll wash it. Okay. I like how this one, the door is slightly ajar. Ooh, got a little spit there. Just needed to clear out a bit of the gunk. Whoa. There we go. So we'll let those dry. And then we'll I'll pick a color for these vents. I don't know. What do you guys think? Gray or like beige? Should I try to paint them like they were like secretly Cordoval? Let's see what kind of cool airbrush colors I have. I mean, obviously I don't want them bright. I want them sort of drab and gothic looking. If that even makes any sense. Like I could do like a US gray like that. It's just kind of boring. I want a little bit of a warmth to them. Could do this like dark yellow. Not bad. What else do I have? I have a green. Like you could do. Oh, that's a nice gray actually. You have a red. You definitely don't want it red. I just made 2 pieces blue, so it's not, they're not going to be blue. Looks too much like gold. That's an interesting color. Okay, we're going to go a medium gray. The safes kind of look like posts, but they do, don't they? A little bit. The beige sounds good. Okay, let's try it. Let's try a beige like that. And then we can always tone it up or down as we like. These are funny. Whoa. Still had a little blue in there. Whoops. It's okay. Weird on that one side. Okay. Clogging. I'm just trying to clear the clog, honestly. When your henchmen are going for the safest, they can say they're going postal. There it goes. Took a while to clear that. But it's clear now. That's just blowing crap all over the place. Okay. So now we're going to do a couple of different kinds of weathering. So we're going to do like a steel detailing, like, you know, especially this is going to be good on the safes to kind of look like the safes got chipped and beat up a little bit. And we'll do that on both pieces. And then we'll add some rust specifically on the air ducts. I'm just making sure I'm clear because I had a bad clog on the color. All right. So now we're going to grab this gray. I need a lighter gray, actually. That's too dark. Gray. Should have like a ghost gray or... That's too dark. Color's that? That's too dark. It's a good gray. So we're going to do pale blue gray. And we're going to just put in barely any in the airbrush. And I'm just going to hit specific spots. All right. Dry brushing with the airbrush. We're just going to edge highlight. This gray is too light for the duct. It's okay for the safe. Safe a little. All right, so now they look quite a bit darker. I mean, lighter, actually. But don't worry, we will fix that as well. Okay, I'm just gonna, might as well just spend some of it here, like modeling up these ducks. Like that. You see, I'm just kind of like haphazardly spraying, but I'm trying to spray towards corners, towards places where you would expect to see some chipping or wearing or fading of the paint. All right, now let's start to beat this stuff up. And I'm going to so we're going to put in, we're going to spray a little of this color rust on the vents. So I'm not going to do too much in terms of brushwork on these. I think the idea is like that. See that? Just subtle. And kind of localize it. Like here's where the rust would be. Right? And I'll go a little heavier towards the middle. A little back there. Just a little. You don't want too much. See? There you go. And on this guy. So like that, right under that lip there, you get a lot. Okay. I'm wondering, should I put any rust on this? I mean, maybe. Maybe right there on the hinges and on the bar. But there's really not much opportunity for these safes to rust. These vaults. I don't care. It looks cool. We're just going with it. They pop these safes loose and maybe they're just sitting out on the almost done. Okay. Whoops. So now, the only thing left to do is I want to make a glaze to get all the detail and stuff on these. Okay, so I'm going to make a kind of like an umber glaze, like an Agrax Earthshade type glaze. We're going to spray that through, and that's going to act to give us that'll give us some of the shadow and the detail stuff that we want left. All right, so this is going to be an interesting mixture. I'm going to mix some airbrush thinner. Oh, I really need to order more airbrush thinner. So airbrush thinner, glaze medium, and then we're just going to do 2 types of inks. And we're going to mix this all in the airbrush. I need black ink and brown ink. So I prefer to use, yeah, that's good. I'm going to do with that black ink. Here it is. So black ink and brown ink. And we're going to give this we're going to give the ducks kind of an overall glaze. That's going to give it a little bit of sheen. And most importantly, though, it's going to really kind of age these out nicely. So a little more brown than black, but almost equal parts. And you can do this with the paintbrush too. This is just a little bit more focused to be able to do it this way. Okay, So here we go. And it's going to just overall darken everything. Ooh. Uh-oh. Made a boo-boo. Made a mistake there. It's okay. It's going to have a weird little pock mark right there, but I don't care. Okay, I'll just do that and bury it. The other option. Okay. Okay. And then finally, let's do it on these. Just to give it, like, kind of, let's give it more depth. So these things do look, you know, worn, a little more realistic looking. I'm excited to be able to use these in games. That's pretty good. So now we just sort of let these dry. Cool. Not bad for one little sitting here. Not even 2 hours. We just knocked out a couple of cool pieces for the game. So because the safes are like they're like loot tokens that you can't pick up. Each you can take them in a pair, which is cool. So if you, I imagine that these safes are good if you have reason to believe that you can outnumber your opponent or gain a numeric advantage over your opponent relatively safely in the game. Because then if you can do that, then you put these two out, they take one, it's two of them, and they take up one of your objective slots, and you can park, let's say if you were running let's say if you're running a horde style list, maybe Batman with a bunch of cops, right? And you had a bunch of cheap cops and you fan out and you try to get your opponent to concentrate on taking out the sheer numbers that you're going to throw at him. Meanwhile, you can have some cheap henchmen just sort of parked on these boxes, each collecting a VP every turn. And as long as you can keep your opponent swamped or gain that foothold over your opponent, then taking these vaults is really good. It's kind of the opposite of like taking riddles, because a riddle, when you take riddles, you get a pair of them, but you're kind of gambling like, okay, I'm going to gain some short-term points, but I won't have to be there. Like I can go try to solve the riddle, try to score a point or two, and then move on towards like beating up my opponent or trying to pull off the specific strategy. So that's another thing that I really like about Batman. When I first started to get into Batman, all of this stuff was annoying to me because it's like, wait a minute, okay, so when you move, you get your jog, And then you can run with a special and a move. You can move and then bolster and move. And then when you have to interact with objectives, you have to spend another movement token. And if you wanted to, you got to spend a movement token. If you wanted to climb, you got to spend a movement token. And then if you want to hang on the wall, I think it's a special actually. So it sounds really complicated, and it kind of is. All kidding aside, it kind of is. It's a lot more complicated than a standard, guild ball. You get, your jog is free. You want to sprint or charge, it's going to cost you 1 or 2, and that's it. Those are your movement options. In Batman, you have like half a dozen movement options, and there's all these different things you can do. So and when it was like, okay, well then you take objectives. And bear in mind, at the time we were playing Relic Knights. In Relic Knights, you only have your primary objective and 2 secondary objectives. And that's typically how these games go. Active, and you have a secondary objective. But in Batman, you have all these different types of objectives. You have loot. You have dose, which does another thing. You have ammo, which you pretty much everybody has to take, every crew, because it's like, oh, no, I better have some ammo out there. And then you have safes. Then you have Joker specific objectives, and then you have bat signals. So there's a lot, is what I'm saying. There's a lot of rules. There's a lot of things in the Batman game. But when you start enjoying it for the narrative, all of this stuff becomes forgivable. I want to be able to have I want to be able to turn a bat signal on if I'm a Batman crew. I want to be able to poison my opponents if I'm running Joker. I want that Joker toxin. And then even from a strategic point of view, like I was saying, yeah, there's times where you're going to want to take the vaults. There are other times when you don't want to take safe boxes. There are other times where you're going to want to take other types of objectives. It depends on the build of your crew. It depends on the scenario that you're playing. So it does serve a purpose, but it's also very fluffy. So you got that. So anyways, that's kind of what I'm getting at with Batman. It's like we hated it when we had we'll call it a 75% picture of what the game was like, and we weren't playing all the rules. It's like, we have all these rules. We don't, like, why do you need so many rules? Why do you need a to hit roll? Why do you need a to damage roll? Why do you get an armor roll? Why do you need to wait for the other guy to throw his dodge? Yeah, there's all this stuff in there, and a single combat in these other games where it's like, well, you hit, and the difference between your hit and the other person's defense gives you this, and so they're more streamlined, they're faster. The DC Miniatures game is also streamlined and faster. A lot of people tell me, oh, well, you'll like the DC Miniatures game because it plays more to what you're looking for. It plays more simple. It plays quicker. It's more tactical. You don't have to single counter at the start of the turn. But I'm starting to really like that about Batman because it's all kinds of control, but then game, and it actually provides, once you get what you're doing, it actually provides some rather interesting gameplay. I really like the idea of the raise a plan phase and putting tokens in movement or defense or special or whatever. I thought it was cool when we started playing. Initially, it was like, well, that's a lot of work. Can we just get into the game? Can I just throw a punch at you and you try to dodge and you throw one back? I get that. But you get into the game and things start to make sense to you. Why do you have a damage roll? Because a character might be using a weapon. A weak character might be using a weapon that gives them some sort of bonus, like heavy or mechanical or something like that. And you're like, okay, that's another layer, but is it totally necessary? No, it's not, but it makes the game deep. So you have this weak character with a heavy mechanical weapon that's doing a lot of damage. And, what's the counter for that? They got away with fielding a cheaper character because they had good equipment. Well, then you field a thief. Then you can disarm the person. And so there's a lot of depth to the game. But it's up to whoever. It's up to you if you like it or not. I initially did not like it. I wanted a shorter experience. I wanted a more streamlined experience. I wanted to be able to paint fun miniatures and put them on the board and run them around and laugh at each other and then pull them off an hour later. Like Relic Knights, right? This game is not Relic Knights, and it shouldn't have really likened it to Relic Knights. What this game really is like, what this game reminds me of, 1.5 actually. And yeah, Malifaux 1.5 uses a card mechanic, but it has a duel mechanic. And this game kind of uses like an opposed die roll, almost like a duel mechanic where decisions are made by both players. And there's a resource allocation factor that plays in a role here. But what's Malifaux 1.5, where there were so many rules and layers to the game, picture, you say that you have a deeply narrative game and that you have what I preach about on this channel all the time, right? Of setting fluff and rules. Like, to me, I will forgive a lot if it, when you sell the game idea to me, mechanics lend to that, right? In the case of Batman, one of the viewers here told me, well, mechanically, Batman miniature game isn't the best set of mechanics out there. It's not. No one's ever going to accuse the Batman miniature game of having best, cleanest, clearest rule set. No one will ever accuse it of that. But what you do get is you have the ability to play characters from your favorite comic book or video game or movie or animated series or whatever, it acts and behaves the way you expect it to. You know what I mean? It's this game is designed by people. They're like, oh, what would be cool is if, Batgirl got shot in the Killing Joke, so the animated version of her has a survivor rule. That's kind of with the rules. And does it end up in a lot of rules? It sure as hell does. Does it end up being a really quirky, often silly game? Yes, it does. But for that, if that's your expectation and you play it for that, then the game really starts to shine. I did not get before. That's what I did not get about the game playing it before. I really wasn't all that into Batman. I saw the Court of Owls, and I'm like, there's a thing called Court of Owls. I love owls. For those of you who have seen my sake cup, and I just love the symbolism of the owl and all this other stuff. Read the fluff, the story behind Court of Owls, immediately fell in love with that, and learned how to play them in the game. And now that I know even more about Court of Owls, it just makes the experience that much better for me. So, anywho, this is what we're looking at. Dry. Tomorrow I will seal them with, I'm going to seal them with a high gloss and then a flat. So these are going to be somewhat shiny, but that's good because they're going to take a beating board. Only Batman can touch his women. That's right. Yeah. I mean, see, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, if we were playing the game for mechanics, that's a very frustrating situation. It's like, oh, well, I have a character with a katana that can't wound a character that's essentially unarmed, that she just had a pistol, right? That she can't fire because she's in combat. Like, if you told me that and you didn't tell me what game it was or if there was any sort of narrative attached to it, I'd be like, wow, that game sounds terrible. Why would I want to play that? That sounds awful. Of course, the character with the katana should be able to go and basically slice up an unarmed character, given that they're the same strength, roughly the same skills. That just makes sense to me. But in terms of the narrative, in terms of understanding who the two characters are, and how that was ultimately resolved, that becomes an enjoyable experience. And you're like, okay, that's super funny, right? No one could touch Talia except for Batman, her lover, Batman himself, who came down there, knocked her unconscious, and then that was the end of it. But he had to wait several turns because he had the bat signal on, and he was kind of parked on the bat signal. That kind of stuff is super funny, and those are the kinds of moments that you generate in an Miniatures game. There's some other tactical moments too that are super fun, like, hey, you remember that time you thought you were going to kill my guy? Kel turned around, came around the corner and pulled the two action counters that you needed in order to kill my guy, and basically ruined your game and turned it around. Or do you remember the time that Poison Ivy took control of Harley Quinn, and Harley Quinn knocked the Joker out and won the game for the other guy? There's stuff like that. Overpowered, is that an overpowered ability? Arguably. Do we care? No, because that's how Poison Ivy behaves. And so we give it a pass because, yes, we're like, yeah, that would happen. So that's what I love about the Batman game. It's not, and that's also what I loved about Malifaux 1.5, is that, now, is it the most balanced game out there? No. Is it the cleanest rule set out there? Absolutely not. But what it gives you in terms of promising that experience, it delivers on that promise. It gives you entertainment that you were looking for. And when you sell, I know this personally, when I sell the idea of a miniatures game to people, and I do this shit all the time, actually, sell them on the idea of playing or trying a miniatures game. You give them like the 5-second spiel. For example, Guild Ball, right? This is the best elevator speech I've ever heard for Guild Ball was, rugby and soccer rules, low fantasy, Gangs of New York style football. And I loved it. And it was like, yeah, that sums up Guild Ball. And when you play it, that's the experience you get. Selling Batman would be, consider Batman in the movies and in the animated series and TV. You can do it. You can play that Batman. You can play all kinds of weird stuff. It's like reading a comic book where all kinds of silly crap happens and you get to partake. That's what Batman is to me, and that's why I did a 180 on it. When I used to do my like end of year shows, like what are my favorite miniatures games, I think at best Batman made an honorable mention like 2 years ago. It didn't make the list. It did not make a top 10 list for me. Top 10 list at the end of this year, I guarantee you it's going to make a top 10 list. It will probably be top 3 for me. Miniature game wise, it's been Relic Knights and Guild Ball forever. Relic Knights strong towards the beginning of the year, out as we go into the Kickstarter and await 2.0, 2.1. So we're kind of taking a break from Relic Knights. And then Guild Ball being really strong, being like the game last year. That was like the hotness last year, was bringing Guild Ball to Southern California, playing a lot of Guild Ball. And then, teen died down a bit. But still, up in a month ago, you were asking me what I would play every week. Guild Ball was always up there. We play a game of Guild Ball like every week. Me and 2 or 3 other people. That's what we did. Play Guild Ball. We still love Guild Ball. Want to play it. But then this game came back. So we're going to play this game too. And Mark essentially said to me, I would be really happy if we slotted Guild Ball and Batman as our main games. Because I started playing Malifaux, 2nd edition, M2E. He wanted to play. We played. I have 2 crews for M2E. I might sell my Ramos crew. Need it, and I don't have room for it. I don't know. I need to get rid of it so that I can fit Batman and Guild Ball back in the same box. It's a problem. I had to move tonight. I moved Guild Ball into its own KR case. I mean, not Guild Ball, Batman. That's some serious, like, that's serious commitment. Like, holy crap, I have that much Batman now. Like, I have a box of nothing but Batman miniatures here at my feet. And I've got to paint my way through it. A lot of it's stuff that I don't even, we're talking 5th, 6th, 7th crew. Like all the way down there. I don't need to run 7 crews. I will be happy with 4. I definitely want to paint through some. I want to experience some, and then I want to sell it off. But I'm going to keep, I'm definitely, right now, the top 2 for me are going to be Court of Owls for crew, and then Birds of Prey. Those are my top 2 right now. I want to eventually, Court of Owls, Birds of Prey, Secret 6, and then another standard crew. And I'm not entirely sure what what that last crew is going to be. That's kind of the audition crew, right? Like that's a toss-up between right now, I would have to say Riddler. It could be Penguin. Been looking at Penguin pretty strong lately. And I don't really count Batman and Joker. I don't count those as crews that you own for Batman because you just end up with Batman. Like when people tell me, oh, I want to play Batman in the Batman miniatures game, where do I start? And I'm like, you will always have a Batman crew. You will accidentally have a Batman. Like I have 5 Batmans. I don't even play Batman. Like you get Batfleck, and then you get, you know, if you're me, you're like, I'm going to play, I had like the animated series Batman, which I still want to. If you've seen the guys that have started to paint them like Space Ghost, I really want to do that. That just sounds super fun. I totally want to do that. And then I have Adam West Batman because you got to have Adam West Batman. And then I have Arkham Origins Batman. I don't know why. I just ended up. I think somebody gave that to me. I don't remember. I have one. And so there's that. And then the Joker crews, I accidentally get Joker crews. It's mainly because I'm not interested in Joker. I'm barely interested in Harley Quinn. I don't really like, I don't know. She's one of those characters that I love the aesthetics for, but I don't necessarily like her. Like, I don't, awkward moments list with Talia and Catwoman. That's funny. I was going to do an awkward Batman list that had Batman, Batwoman, Huntress, and Catman, which is funny because Catman had a thing for Batwoman and was betrayed by Batwoman and currently has a thing for Huntress. That would be cool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my 4th. I even have a Watchmen crew. I'm not even sure like what I like painting it, but I don't know. I'm probably going to turn around and sell that too. I don't need to keep a Watchmen. I wouldn't understand how you win with a Watchmen crew. They just don't seem very good to me. Like Ozymandias is a beast. Like he's awesome. And then there's some cool stuff that you can do with the Comedian. But the rest of the crew sucks. Like Silk Spectre and Night Owl are awful. I don't understand how you play those characters. They're just not good. Like, what do you do with them? So anyway, it's 11:30 at night, and I gotta get up in about 5-ish hours and go to work, which is terrible. I hate work. I don't want to go. Awful. I have to work all week. What kind of crap is that? Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank everybody for watching. once again, here's what we worked on. I know it's not exciting stuff. You don't get to see a cool mini done at the end of it, but it's important stuff, okay? I need to be able to play this stuff in my game, and I'm going to super enjoy it. Okay, so put those there. And want to thank everybody for watching. Have a good night, guys. I'll do another stream maybe sometime this week. I promise you, we will try a we will try to do a nice single miniature. I haven't figured out what I'm going to paint, but maybe I don't know, maybe a Margot Robbie Harley or something like that. Okay, have a good night, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.